Hi everybody, this is Joe Contrera and welcome back to the Alive at Work Leadership video blog. Last week, we started a series on change, the 3 types of change. And I just want to say a big heartfelt thanks to all of you and everyone who emailed or commented on the topic. If you recall, the first type of change that we discussed last week was the push. It's the change that happens almost unconsciously. It is the force or the energy that drives us forward throughout our lives. The example I gave was the development of a human heart inside a fetus at day 21 and how it all happened. The heartbeat happened because of the development that was happening prior to the 21 days, unconscious and without any effort from the baby. This week, we're going to talk about the second type of change, and it's what I refer to as the pain. Now, at any given time in our lives, we feel stuck. We might be in a painful place, and it may feel like our backs are against the wall. And you see, it's in those times where we feel that we have no choice but to change, just so we can stop the pain, reduce the pain, or the uncomfortableness of the situation that we find ourselves in at the time. I sometimes think of it as the quicksand phase, where we're stuck in quicksand and we'll do anything or say anything, bargain, to get out of it. And I think this was so eloquently described in a book by an author, Alan Deutschman, who wrote Change or Die. And in that book, he talked about how when faced with life or death challenges because of heart disease, how folks who after going through an angioplasty or having a stent put in their heart, how they changed and for how long they changed. And like most of us, how they returned to their old habits and their old ways prior to being faced with that life or death threat. And see, I think that is so true for most of us. Once the urgency or the threat of death or the pain passes and we can breathe a sigh of relief, we oftentimes return to the old pattern. Of course, that's just until the next painful event happens where we're awakened to another issue that we were ignoring, and we find ourselves in a situation where we feel trapped again and we have to deal with it. Usually when we decide to change is unfortunately when the perceived pain of changing is less than the pain of staying exactly where we are. It's almost as if we go through life unconscious or intentionally ignoring the signs that we must change until we have no choice. And then we get rudely awakened by a serious health issue. Maybe it's a painful relationship breakup, or even an unplanned career or work issue. It's as if the pain is there to get our attention, and now that we're fully awake and conscious, we change. This shift from being asleep to being awake can be a tipping point. A tipping point where we go from living unconsciously to living consciously. And this tipping point gives us the energy and the momentum to go to the next level where the change is almost always intentional and conscious, driving you towards your purpose. This third type of change, which I refer to as the purpose or the pull. You see, yes, the pain can be a tipping point. This movement from being unconscious to conscious can be a tipping point forward and give us the momentum to go to the next type of change. Or it can be a blip on the radar screen of life, and after it passes, we fall back asleep to the old beliefs and the old ways. So my question to you is, how are you navigating change? Are you just allowing change to happen to you, the push that's driving you forward in your life unconsciously? Or do you find yourself bouncing between being awake and asleep and staying awake just long enough, staying conscious enough just long enough to get out of the pain and then returning back to your old ways? Join us next week when we wrap up this series on change and talk about the third type of change, the pull, or sometimes known as the purpose, and how embracing that type of change will move you another step closer to living your extraordinary life. As always, lots of stuff to think about. And until next time, please be safe and be well.